All right, thank you for joining. Today I wanted to go over Trump coin USDT on the Bybit chart. This is going to be the spot. Let's start off with the higher time frame, right? So looking at the monthly time frame, we can clearly see that Trump coin has been in a downtrend for quite some time, right? We had one very bullish monthly candle, but ever since that monthly candle closed, it's still just been selling off, making lower lows and lower highs every single month since it basically launched. Now, will this year be a little bit different? Will January end the month higher than last month's high? Right? Only time will tell. But there's not much to really see from the monthly. From the weekly, you can start to now see a little bit more data, right? Clearly still in a downtrend, obviously, based on the monthly. But we're starting to have a weekly uptrend here, right? So every single week, the previous week's lows have been defended for the past 3 weeks, ever since it took out last month's low. When zooming into the daily time frame, we can start to really map out the price action over the past month, actually month and a half, right? Seeing that it's halfway through January. So going from the beginning of December to January now, we can see here the monthly range is from $4.77 all the way up to $6.12. So with that being said, we are now trading, if we go and see here, we're trading right at the 50% mark off last month's range, right? So being very efficient. If I was to go ahead and pull a fixed range volume profile, that's where my guess would be, see, in terms of the point of control. So pretty much right there. So what is this leading me to believe? We came down, took out some liquidity, pumped higher into the it looks like the 618 of the actual previous month, right? So we just went on the monthly range here, pull that and select a golden pocket. It actually went to the 7.5, right, the nav. So tested that level and we are getting a clear rejection. So the .75 is a very powerful level, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you add that to your charts or your Fibonacci tools. .75 in crypto and in stocks has been very, 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 very precise lately. It's actually been way more precise than what everyone knows as the golden pocket. The .75 for sure is now the area that is the best, most technical level. That's why I created this nav, which is the Navitility zone. .75 to 718. That's the new golden pocket, I guess, as you can say, which just been showing a lot more respect across all markets. So we're currently trading in a range, as you can see here, for Trump. This range was basically established since January 4th, and we've just been trading highs and lows, which is basically last week's range, right? So based on this right here, we went up, took out last week's high, came back down, still at the 50% off last month, and to be honest, we're probably at the 50% of last week too as well, which is very interesting. So we're right in the 50% of the overall monthly range and the weekly range as well. I have this little robot thing cleaning up around me in case you hear some background noise. That should go away shortly. But so looking a little bit bearish on the daily. We have a swing low down here. Might be targeting these swing lows at around $5.28 before making another move up. It is currently making higher highs and higher lows, right? So we really don't want to see Trump coin dropping below. You really don't want to see it dropping below. Just don't want to really see it taking out the lows. Like, it can take it out, but you don't want to see it going back below these lows here, because what's going to happen is if we start taking out these lows, then more than likely what could be in play is a bearish market structure, then aiming back down for the lows there, right? So we want to see it hold this level where she just tested and bounced from, exactly like I said, right? The .75, such an important level. Look at that, right to the penny. And from the swing low to the swing high, yeah, still right around there. You don't really want to see it take out these lows. So let's go ahead and jump down to the 4 hour. You know, it still looks very bullish in my opinion on the weekly, daily. There is a lot of inefficient moves here, so we can possibly get a move back down to $5.10 after taking these highs. But just to be a lot more straightforward, we are more bearish than bullish right now after taking these highs and getting rejected. And it's just simply aiming for liquidity. It could possibly bounce here, but in my opinion, yeah, it could hold here. It really can hold here. If you start seeing some interesting low time frame levels begin to get reclaimed, like for instance, yeah, it doesn't really start getting bullish until it starts trading above $5.60 again, right? Because it's just a massive sell-off. No major swing highs. There's a consolidation here, which is very important. That's going to be a lot of selling pressure. And with that being said, yeah, you really want to see it trading above $5.60 to really start thinking that we're going to go for the highs one more time at around $5.78 before pushing even higher. But the way how it's looking now, it looks like it may continue to drop a little bit more, come back down to $5.25 before possibly trying to go up again. But in my opinion, based on what I'm seeing here, I would not be surprised if it comes back down to this consolidation area right here, right? I think this seems to be more on the table, just in terms of price action. Come back down, grab some liquidity again, and then go off, right? Which would then start to make sense. Then you start having a little bit of a trend line action happening there. Making still a higher low, right? So higher high, higher low, and then target these this trend line right there. So locally, Trump coin over the next 24 hours to 48 hours, leading into the weekend, probably bearish. Might even stay bearish until next week, Tuesday. Because with Bitcoin, even though Bitcoin dropped a little bit, Trump coin dropped a lot. And I was actually thinking about taking a short on, good thing I didn't short here. But I was thinking about taking a short on Bitcoin once it hit the 618 off of this overall range. Not 7.5, 618. Still an important level, right? So hit the 618 of that overall range. Thought about going short. I should have went short, because it looks like it's just going to be a short trade up until this weekend for sure. So yeah, let's get back to Trump coin here. So a little bearish. It's clearly at support. You want to see it hold around this level. Not a bad area to long, but has there been any liquidity swept? No liquidity has even been swept. So this is just looking like equal lows. So engineered lows, as I like to call it. Right? And I would not be surprised for price to at least maybe pump up a little bit, get some people long, come back down before then going up again. So we just got to trade this level to level. It is looking a little bit bullish now, like it could go for a higher low, right? Which I, again, would not be surprised. But just to be a little bit more cautious, maybe a little bit more move to the downside to take out some more liquidity before then trying to move higher, in my opinion, because right now it is looking more bearish than bullish. Bitcoin is also looking bearish, which is the #1 thing that you should be paying attention to, right? In terms of price action for the rest of the altcoins. When Bitcoin looks bearish, the rest of the market looks bearish. And Trump coin looks bearish right now. Areas I'm looking to long, again, around $5.10. Also around $5.25 if we can get some of these lows taken out. But if it wants to defend this week's low, Then a little bit more move to the downside at $5.40. Maybe even take these lows. This will be a very interesting trade for it to take these lows right here, but still defending last week's low, right? So something like that. Even comes down that close. As long as it doesn't penetrate that low, that would be a good sign. And then it's more than likely going to take out this high, which is around $5.78. Right, so we just got to take things day by day. Very interesting project here. I think it will move pretty crazy at some point. Not sure when that is, but until then, manage your risk. Remember to like and subscribe. I post almost daily here. Try to do daily. And yeah, leave a comment below like always. Take care.